There is no good time for something like this to happen. Nobody wants this to happen in their flock. But for this to happen while I was thousands of miles away, I want to do everything I can to make sure it doesn't happen to you. You're broody, Binky. Binky is cranky and broody and hormonal. I can relate. I'll put you down. Hello, friends. Welcome to Chickenlandia. My name is Dahlia. I'm a backyard chicken educator, also known as the president of Chickenlandia. Raising backyard chickens has been the best way for me to find peace and joy in my life, and I want to help you find that too. So I am going to be talking about a duck in this video, but everything I'm saying you can apply to your chickens, and you can probably apply it to other poultry as well. I did not see this coming, and I just really want to use this moment to let you know how to deal with it, but I also want to tell you what happened because it was pretty traumatic. So some of you that follow me on social media, you know that I went on vacation recently. I went to Toronto, the Toronto area with my family. I have a wonderful person that was watching my flock, taking care of my dogs, taking care of my chickens, taking care of my ducks. And my family and I were at the Toronto Aquarium, which is this awesome aquarium. My friend who was watching my birds sends me this text, and she's like, you know, I think your duck, Mr. Robot, like something's going on with him. I don't know what it is. He is moving really slow. He's letting me pick him up, which he normally doesn't do. Immediately I was like, you know, Mr. Robot is a special needs duck. He's got a very small duck bill and he's got a very short neck. And because of that, he's really not able to take care of himself. I have to like give him baths and stuff and make sure that he stays clean. Otherwise he gets like this super poopy butt. So I didn't really think that much of it when she was like, something's going on with him. I said, you know what, just, so rinse him off, make sure he doesn't have a poopy butt. If he has a poopy butt, please clean it off and he should be fine. And then my friend sends me a video. And if you are sensitive to really gross things like bugs, creepy crawlies, fast forward right now for a few seconds because this is disturbing. It was fly strike, and I went into panic mode. The reason I immediately started to panic is because many times an animal, certainly when it gets to this kind of advanced stage, there's a good chance that your animal is not going to survive that. So I immediately started to prepare myself. I talked to my friend who was watching my animals, and I told her, I said, look, this is not your fault, but I need you to know that there's a good chance that we are going to lose him. And she was just so determined to help him. I mean, oh my gosh. So, and I'm going to get into that, but I want to tell you a little bit about what fly strike is and how that could actually happen in a place like Chickenlandia. So let's say you have a chicken that has a poopy butt and they're walking around like this. The conditions are like they are right now. It is the summer. It is hot. It is humid. These are perfect conditions for fly strike to happen. And what fly strike is, it is literally maggots eating your animal alive. And when it happens, it can go from 0 to 100 in like 24 to 48 hours. I was really beating myself up when this happened with Mr. Robot because I was like, how did I miss this? How did I miss this? But then the vet told me like, look, this can happen super fast. And I did some research on it. What happens is a fly goes and lays eggs where your animal has a lot of poop collected or there's an injury there. And then once the eggs are laid, it's very quickly, like the next day or two, that those maggots are gonna hatch. The first level of prevention is to keep an eye on your birds. If you have a bird that has a poopy butt during the summer months especially, you really want to stay on top of that because that just like raises the chance of there being irritation and injury there, and just the presence of poop, that raises the chance of a fly laying their eggs there and you ending up with this condition on one of your birds. My next piece of advice is to obviously do your best to keep your fly population down. Now, in Chickenlandia, I use something called fly predators. They are beneficial little tiny wasps. I buy them online. I bring the eggs in here, and they hatch out and they feed on the larvae of flies. They feed on maggots. But, it's just one of those things, like, do your best. Know that it can still happen, but you're just, all of these things together are lowering your chances of this happening to one of your birds. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you Mr. Robot's treatment plan, and it is gonna help you to know what to do if this happens in your flock. What I had to do, because I didn't want to burden my friend, I had to send Mr. Robot to the vet. So I called my veterinarian from the aquarium and I was like, and it was so loud, and I was like, he's got fly strike. And they were like, what? I said, my duck has fly strike. Can you please get him in? And bless them, they were able to get him in, but he couldn't get in until the following day. My friend discovered this on Monday. He could not get into the vet until Tuesday morning. So she just acted really quickly, and this is what she did. The affected area was all across his abdomen. He somehow got injured. We don't know how. A fly came in and laid her eggs on him, so his abdomen was like covered in maggots. So the first thing that she did was she flushed that area as much as possible and got all of those maggots off of him. She got tweezers because there were maggots of different stages on him, like there were itty bitty ones and bigger ones. She did all of that for him, and I'm like eternally grateful to her. So to flush the area, you can use plain water, you can use saline, you can use colloidal silver. Like if you have a good amount of colloidal silver, you can flush it with that. You can use vetericin spray, or you can use a diluted betadine solution. The main thing you want to do is just flush the area. And if you can use something that's healing while you're doing that, that's great, but use what you have. The most important thing is that you do it right away. You don't want to wait to go get something. Get those critters off of your bird right away. So she did that. She got all the maggots off of him. She took some colloidal silver gel and she put that all over his wound. The next morning he went to the vet, and I got a call from the vet that morning, and he told me, he said, whatever your friend did, it was good. And we really feel good about this. We think we can pull him through this. That's what he initially told me. He called me back and he said, look, we've been flushing out his vent. This is very important because if it happens near the vent, it is very likely that maggots have actually gotten in the vent of your chicken or bird, okay? So the vet called me back. He was like, hey, I'm sorry, but I need to tell you, when we flushed out the vent, we found lots of maggots, and a lot of maggots came out of him. What this means is that he likely has internal damage. So he just was not feeling as good about it as he was initially. And he was like, there's a good chance that he's going to die. Obviously, if you don't have a vet that can do this, or if you cannot take your chicken to the vet, then you need to flush their vent out at home. And the way that you can do that is get a needleless syringe, fill it with saline, okay, and flush out their vent. And, do that as much as you can on that first day. Not so much that you're just like completely stressing out the bird, but you've got to flush out that vent and make sure that there's no maggots in it, because they could really be causing internal damage. Once you have gotten all the maggots off of your bird and out of your bird, if they were inside, then I would use something topical to try and heal that wound. I really like colloidal silver gel. The vetericin gel is also good. The reason why I like the gels is because they dry well, and they leave kind of a protective layer, whereas an ointment will make it kind of like, it makes a really moist environment. You know, that's a great environment for maggots. So we don't want that. We want it to be clean and dry, okay? So that is gonna be like your obsession for the next several days, is to keep that area clean and dry. Because once the flesh is healed, the maggots won't have anything to feed on, okay? Because the maggots did damage both externally and internally on Mr. Robot, he had a very serious infection. So since he was at the veterinarian, he got strong antibiotics to deal with that infection. So if you don't have access to antibiotics from a veterinarian, then you're gonna have to get creative about what you can use. And there are natural things that have antibiotic properties. What I like the best, again, is colloidal silver. And I'm not a veterinarian, so my disclaimer is rolling, but I am telling you what I do, okay? That's all I'm doing right now. I will literally replace their water with a good quality colloidal silver. I know the quality of it. I know that it's not going to be detrimental to them. That is what I will do, or at least I'll do half and half, because you have to observe to make sure they're still drinking the water. So you could do that. You could use colloidal silver. If you want to go a little bit more conservative on it, you could look up the dosage for parrots and use that dosage for colloidal silver. I know other people use oregano oil. I am just now getting into learning about using it. I know that it needs to be very diluted. Oregano oil is super strong, and I'm talking like you're going to use a tiny bit in water. There's also products that are made with oregano that are specifically for chickens, and hopefully that will help you get ahead of the infection and, you know, just really help to heal your bird from this awful situation. Mr. Robot got painkillers, you know, because he was being seen by a vet. So he got painkillers that are approved for birds. If you don't have access to that, I would use arnica in 30C potency. And I would just put a couple of pellets of that in their water so that they're getting a dose every time they drink. And that should help to take the edge off all that pain. There's probably swelling, there's probably bruising, just injury going on. It should really help. If you are dealing with this, you're gonna have to be patient, okay? Because it is such a significant event that it will likely take at least 2 weeks to heal your bird. Keep them separate from the flock. You do not want to have them among your flock while this is happening. Follow the rest method, which I'm going to tell you more about that at the end of this video. It might take 2 weeks, it might take 3 weeks. You just want them to be fully healed before you integrate them back into your flock. As for my little Mr. Robot, he was in the hospital for 4 days. The people at Linden Veterinary Hospital, especially Dr. Barry, his vet, they are absolutely wonderful people. And every day it was so touch and go that I was just preparing myself to lose him. And I took comfort in the fact that he had a good life while he lived in Chickenlandia. And he still does. He's alive! It's a miracle! When Mr. Robot came home, he still had a long recovery. So he was inside for a while, and then he was outside, but he was still separated from the flock. You know, Mr. Robot lost his little wife. He had a little wife. Her name was Angry Marshmallow. She died last year. She was the angriest little duck, but also the cutest little duck. So I decided, you know what? If Mr. Robot gets through this, I am going to get him some wives. So I want you to meet Sandy and Mrs. Puff. They are Mr. Robot's wives, and Mr. Robot is very happy. But yeah, I told you I was going to tell you about the rest method. So there is a full video about it that I recommend whenever you have a sick chicken, or you have an injured chicken, or you have a chicken that is in shock. This is going to help you get through those super stressful times. You will know what to do, okay? So you should go watch it right now so you know before the stressful time happens, okay? And guess what? It's 100% friendly backyard chickens education and entertainment, and I know you're gonna love it. And I love Mr. Robot. Isn't that right, buddy?